You know a Nile record when you hear it because it just locks into a groove.
I don't know anyone who's had as many songs as him.
It reads like a sort of history of 80s pop.
Not many people can say that. Living legend.
C'est quand même une machine à groover. Il est né avec ça dans le sang, c'est viscéral.
He's an extraordinary musician, and he's a great producer.
Duran Duran would definitely not have had the same career without Nile.
He's another level.
Now Nile is like this, you know, international treasure.
Hij creëerde de grootste hits van de afgelopen 35 jaar voor verschillende generaties. Als oprichter van Chic en als geniaal producer is Nile Rodgers nog steeds immens populair.
New York has always been my home.
I was a good child. I was a hardworking, crazy child that, loved music and loved my city.
Als kind van een 13-jarige moeder in de New York van de jaren 50 staat hij er vaak alleen voor. De muziek wordt een belangrijke metgezel voor hem, maar niets wees erop dat hij zich zou ontwikkelen tot het muzikale genie dat hij geworden is.
I was raised by heroin addicts, so there were drugs in the household, but I was so young, so I didn't know that any of that stuff was negative or bad. That's just how my parents were. So I saw them as wonderful. They were fantastic to me. My parents almost felt magical.
Nile komt in aanraking met de segregatie en het racisme van zijn tijd. Films als Superfly en Shaft, de grote toppers van de blaxploitation, maken hem bewust van zijn zwarte identiteit. Hij steunt de Black Panther-beweging, maar meer vanuit sociale dan vanuit politieke motieven.
When I was younger, my mother married a man who was white, who was Jewish. So I was raised in an interracial family and a culture that had black, white, Puerto Rican. Also, my mom had a lot of gay friends. So we had a very sort of a bohemian, a real hip kind of, lifestyle. So I didn't start to understand that people saw race differently until I started to go out in the world and other people started to either attack us. But when I got older, I progressively realized that other people started to recognize race, politics, and music in a way that my family didn't. Okay, great. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Probably the reason why I chose music was because music, at an early age, you had to practice. Music, I had to go by myself, and I was by myself a lot of the time, and I would just have to... I didn't choose guitar until I was 16 years old. By the time I was 19, I was already proficient reader and player on the guitar, and I had my first job at Sesame Street.
In 1970 heeft Nile een ontmoeting die zijn leven zal veranderen met Bernard Edwards. Samen richten ze de Chic Organization op.
Where did we first meet? We first met in the Bronx. I was looking for a guitar player, and I was working at the post office.
That's right.
And I realized that you were the boyfriend of her daughter's boyfriend.
Whatever.
And I had been looking for you, but I couldn't find you.
Ils ont mis au centre de leur production leur travail de guitare et de basse parce que déjà, ils se convenaient l'un l'autre.
Nile and I been together since we were about 17, so we've known him about 25 years. And when I first met him, he was a hippie, and he had really thick glasses and a funny hairdo with his hair sticking up in the front. And he was a real skinny little guy with a really big guitar, so that's my memory of him. In the beginning, we didn't have enough money to make a record. So what Niall and I used to do, we had a friend that worked in a studio, and at night when the studio would close, we would sneak in afterwards and actually make our songs. We recorded Dance, 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 and Everybody Dance for free that way, because we didn't have any money, and our friend worked in the studio, and we'd sneak in at night. And Luther was doing a job over at Radio City, and we were the backup band, so we'd go over there and play in between shows. We'd run back to the studio and put down some more parts and come back and finish the show. So we made our first tapes for free, but it was like after hours. We were sneaking around.
Chic wasn't just the guitar, it was like the groove, you know? Niall is known for the groove. His signature is the guitar, but the groove, you know, those things are infectious.
Chic music, they were almost like funky punk, I thought, Chic, because they weren't terribly lush.
Eind jaren 70 is dé grote tijd van de disco, die ook heel belangrijk is geweest voor de emancipatie van minderheden. Zwarte, Latino's en homo's staan allemaal samen op de dansvloer. Everybody Dance van Chic wordt dan ook een titel waar je niet omheen kunt. Nile Rodgers en Bernard Edwards schrijven samen de grootste discohits, maar toch zien ze zichzelf niet als een discogroep. Voor hen is Chic een concept en ze besluiten hun imago een andere vorm te geven.
In America we had a big problem with racism, so we thought if we pretended to be French playing American funk and it was sophisticated, we would bypass the racist element because we were French. And in America, France is almost seen not as people, but as a culture in a strange way. But that was only a marketing gimmick at the very beginning. And that's why we didn't put our pictures on the first cover or anything like that. Once we became known and they saw that we were basically just an R&B band from New York, then at that point we already had an audience.
You know, other records pretended and tried very hard to be sophisticated. I think Chic didn't need to do a lot to have that incredible sophistication. I mean, people have said that Chic were a black disco band trying to sound white, and I don't really think so. I think they were trying to sound like themselves.
We were invited by Grace Jones to meet with her, and it was New Year's Eve, the biggest night of the year at the biggest club in the world. You know, she had personally invited us. She told us to go to the back door and just tell them that we were personal friends of Miss Grace Jones. And we did it, and the guy didn't believe us. And he slammed the door in our faces and told us to fuck off. We tried to do it again, and we tried to imitate Grace's accent because she called us on the phone, and we never met her in person. But, you know, on the phone, she had this strange accent. So we said, oh, no. We're personal friends of Miss Grace Jones. And that sounded like Bela Lugosi or a cross between Bela Lugosi and Bob Marley or something. And once again, the guy slammed the door in our faces, really angry, and said, man, fuck off. So we went to my apartment, which was just around the corner from Studio 54, and we started jamming on. Ah, fuck off. Fuck Studio 54. Fuck off. Fuck Studio 54. Fuck off. Fuck Studio 54. And then we turned that into ah.
Met Le Freak tonen de oprichters van Chic hun muzikale genialiteit. Ze slagen erin om met een minimum aan instrumenten een daverende hit te schrijven, waarvan wereldwijd ruim 7 miljoen exemplaren worden verkocht.
Comme souvent dans les chansons dance ou disco, on commence toujours par la rythmique. Donc là, en l'occurrence, les premières pistes sont les pistes de batterie. Donc on peut les écouter ici. Je ne sais pas ce que vous entendez là. Bon. Ça, c'est la rythmique de Le Freak. A priori, comme ça, c'est pas évident. Mais on va commencer par ajouter la basse de Bernard Edwards. On commence à reconnaître déjà un peu. Mais ce qui est phénoménal, c'est qu'il suffit d'un élément, en plus de la rythmique qui est, on va dire, une rythmique, ça peut être tout et n'importe quoi. Il suffit juste d'un petit élément mélodique pour déjà avoir la puce à l'oreille. Et le deuxième élément qui a été enregistré chronologiquement après la batterie et la basse, puisque c'est dans l'ordre que ça se découvre, et c'est cela. Donc on va attendre la reprise de la boucle. Et là, on se dit, mais là je commence vraiment à connaître. Donc ça c'est la première guitare de Nile Rodgers. Et il y en a deux. Il enregistre toujours deux guitares qui sont entrelacées. Et là on va reconnaître tout de suite. Voilà. Et là, grosso modo, on a mis 1, 2, 3, deux guitares, une batterie, une basse, donc 4 éléments. On a déjà 90% de la chanson. Et le secret de Chic, c'est ça, c'est de faire un groove avec quasiment rien, c'est-à-dire 3 personnes dans une pièce, et on a la chanson. Voilà. Et le reste, finalement, ça va être enjolivé, tout ça. Séparément, la basse, elle accompagne, mais toute seule, elle veut rien dire. La guitare, elle accompagne la basse et d'autres choses, mais toute seule, elle veut rien dire. Là, c'est vraiment, voilà, il y avait Nile Rodgers, il y avait Bernard Edwards, c'était leur groupe. Et ça s'entend. C'est-à-dire qu'on en met un, on met l'autre, et on a à peu près tout. En général, les bassistes et les guitaristes sont des accompagnateurs, donc c'est vraiment pas eux dont on se souvient. Donc ils ont quand même réussi le fantasme de tout musicien, c'est-à-dire de musicien accompagnateur, devenir vraiment celui qui est en premier plan de chaque morceau. On parle de Nile Rodgers aujourd'hui, on parle de Bernard Edwards, même s'il est décédé il y a fort longtemps. Il n'y a pas beaucoup de gens qui ont réussi à créer ça dans l'histoire de la musique.
Because that's what makes Chic unique. We don't just stick to it, we interpret it. So I'll play, when I'm playing the groove, I'll play.
Met de hits I Want Your Love en Good Times wordt de naam van Rodgers en Edwards definitief gevestigd.
Well, Nile and I started out producing together. We became producers because when we formed the band Chic, nobody would produce us. So we had to be the producers. We wrote the songs and nobody wanted to do it, so Nile and I became producers. We didn't know what a producer was.
Rolling Stones and Bette Midler. They asked us to produce them because at the time, disco music was so popular. Everybody felt in order to have a competitive record on the charts, you had to have a disco record. And for some reason, they thought that we were the kings of disco, that we had Studio 54 in a bottle and we could just pour that on somebody and they would have disco records. And it's really interesting because we didn't think of ourselves like that at all. So the fact that everybody saw us with this lens, we were the disco kings. It was interesting to us because if we were to do a Rolling Stones record, the last thing we would have done was a disco record.
I mean, they'd been offered names to work with, famously Aretha Franklin, and you know, they said we don't want to be the guys responsible for making Aretha Franklin go disco. And Arma Ertegun sort of offered them the pick of Atlantic's artists, including the Stones, you know, to work with, and they chose Sister Sledge, who, you know, were sort of fairly unknown at that point.
The president of the record